So that was an interesting piece of marketing, wasn't it? So yeah, I just finished the Transformers 1 trailer, which got a lot of hype because like it was going to be shot. It was going to be the first trailer released in space, and I gotta hand it to everyone who waited in the live stream. Who was like, it was like an hour-long wait, and then it opens up, and we're in the air, and the machine's like the trailer release is going up, or the trailer release machine, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is going up, and there's another counter. So if you were there like at 6 a.m. just waiting for it, and then have to wait another hour of until the release, damn. So, more power to you. I got there like 12... Oh, man, it's going to release in 12 minutes. And I was actually going to sleep through it when it said 6 a.m. release. And I was like, yeah, it'll be here when I wake up. But, my bladder forbid me. So I got out, got some breakfast, came back, and I was like, all right, here comes one, and it's another countdown. And I was like, well, it's kind of cool that I'm watching from bird's eye view. And it was nice and serene, and I wasn't really doing anything, so I just left it on. Well, I was just kind of going through my phone, checking social media, all that other good shit. I will say though that despite how it's a pretty cool idea of doing a trailer in space, it's just more space junk. It's just going to be more space junk that's going to be out there. So, but let's not talk about that. I always love space. So the idea of having, of doing something like that is cool, but at the same time you think to yourself, man, that's just more space junk in the orbit, isn't it? Anyway, so let's talk about the trailer itself. And as you guys know, this is one of my most anticipated movies for 2024, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not feeling it. I am leery. And mostly because I was watching the trailer and it opens up with Brian Tyree Hill as Megatron and Chris Hemsworth as Optimus. I'm watching it and immediately I'm like, oh, I know this vibe. This is gonna be a straight up because when I thought, I always thought like Transformers 1, it's gonna be a cool animated origin story for how Orion Pax became Optimus Prime. And Megatron became how he was. Or in here, he's known as D-15 or something. I don't care. And it's weird, too, because, all the, is Orion the only one who has, a full name? While everyone else just has a name, a letter and number to it? That's, I'm like, hang on. That's not how it was in Cybertron, and this is more of a... this feels more like a action comedy film. I will say though, the action sequences do look like they're going to be fire. They straight up look like they're going to be fire. But I was really hoping that we'd get a full on, great animated story involving the origin of what would become the two most prevalent characters in Transformers. And it looks like it's going to be a comedy, and we got Bumblebee back with Keegan-Michael Key, who for a split second does a Megatron voice better than Brian Tyree Hill's Megatron. And I was really and again, I know Tyree Hill's version of Megatron isn't the Megatron that we know of yet, but I do know he can do a good villain voice, and it feels like he's just playing his character from the Monsterverse. So I'm like, oh, and Chris Hemsworth just sounds like Chris Hemsworth. I know people were even my friend Jason was telling me, he's like, yeah, apparently at CinemaCon they said Chris Hemsworth doesn't sound like Chris Hemsworth, and he sounds like a very cool Optimus Prime. And I watched the trailer and I was like, no, he's just playing Chris Hemsworth. The comedy also doesn't really add up for me. And this version of Cybertron, there's it's like an undercity, and there's the surface, which is full of biological life forms. Which a lot of them look like, I guess that's supposed to be the Maximals and or at least the very least a prelude to the Maximals and Predacons. I would not be shocked if they called them Maximals and Predacons. And we also have, I think that's supposed to be either Sentinel or Alpha, what's his name? Not Alpha Trion. No, it was Alpha Trion, yeah. It's either one of those two. Gives them sparks to allow them to transform. which apparently Cybertron, not having a spark to transform is like a thing in this universe, I guess. Makes you a second-class citizen. And I was like, huh, I always thought that it was the Transformers were, were just deemed at the moment of creation that's what they were meant to be all along. Not having a spark means not that having a way to transform makes you a second-class citizen. I was like, huh, interesting change of lore. And we're also making transformation like morphing in Power Rangers. Neat. But yeah, this movie could still be good. I'm not gonna lie, but right now, like, someone who is so deep in Transformers lore and loves the original stories from IDW that gave us all these great characters that carried over into a lot of other stuff from to the Transformers media. The whole thing of making Megatron a good guy after being a genocidal tyrant was really cool, and they carried that over to another Transformers cartoon. You also have fucking the whole thing of why Megatron became the way he was, of being a miner who became a gladiator in the pits, and then wanting to fight for unity and justice, bringing over Orion Pax, and having like this Xavier Magneto kind of dichotomy between the two of them, and then it all falls apart. And I was like, yeah, that's a great movie, but no, I guess Megatron and Orion are just two guys who got thrown together after a fight, I guess. And now they're just have to work together to become friends, only for them to be split apart at the end. Which I imagine will probably be not great. Also, Steve Buscemi, like, they said he's going to be in the movie, but they haven't said yet. A lot of people are pointing to him being Starscream, which I'm already like, hard pass if he's Starscream. I really hate that and look, again, I had been proven wrong before about movies. Obviously, Saw X, and recently with The First Omen. So this movie still could be good. But I am so intrinsically, it bothers me that, like, we're doing something that's more comedic and more, like, so out of left field that, like, it just kind of ignores all this other great stuff you could have pulled from the comic, talking about, like, social class and, equality, as well as, can who you are predetermine what you'll be? There's great themes of that throughout the early days of Cybertron, leading to what would become the Civil War that would devastate Cybertron for everybody. I will admit that it is kind of what looks like to be the Quintessons, although they look more organic, and we do get to see what either could be Arachnid or Black Arachnia. I think it'd be cool. And again, I could go into this movie and be totally wrong. I admit that I have been totally wrong in the past with other films. Again, reiterating, I thought First Omen was really going to suck, and it turned out really good. It's as it stands right now. And again, this could be prone to change, but The First Omen became my favorite movie so far in 2024. Basically, like, yeah, now every other movie I watch from here on out has to compare against The First Omen. But yeah, so again, the trailer was really like more kid friendly but hopefully we'll get. And it's not that kid films can't be dark, can have some dark themes to it, and maybe the trailer just sucks, and we'll get like all the stuff I mentioned of what I wanted to see with the Transformers series in the actual movie. Because again, trailer did no favors for it. But again, I'll go see it and for all I know, it could actually be a really good fucking movie. I always have that hope. I'm not going to be like one of those people who's like... Because I was that person at one point with X-Men First Class, where I was like, nah, it doesn't follow the lore, so it automatically is going to suck. And then when I watched it when it came to, DVD, I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? And again, I had that same kind of thought process with Saw X. I went to go see it thinking it'll suck. Turns out really good. First Omen, same way. So again, all of those things I wanted from the film, wanted that you saw in the comics and the novels and other shows, that could easily be in here. But that trailer did it no favors. So it's already kind of like on the wrong foot for me. And yeah, and the other thing is too, the voice actors feel like they're just kind of playing themselves. Again, Keegan-Michael Key, who I really love as an actor and a comedian, he's just playing Keegan-Michael Key for Bumblebee. And Brian Tyree Hill doesn't feel like Megatron, even though I know he can do a voice that could really work for Megatron. And Chris Hemsworth's just playing Chris Hemsworth. So there's a lot on the... and there's, you know, again, the weird thing about not everyone can transform. The whole thing with the surface, which feels weird. And it feels too comedic for me. Not to say Transformers can't have comedy. It's a fucking kids cartoon. I'm well aware of it. But you can do a lot of cool elements with that. And again, there's a lot of cool, funny moments in Transformers cartoons and comics. But it just feels like it's depending more on the humor than the actual storytelling. But again, I could go. If I go see this, I will fully admit if I was wrong. If this movie turns out really good, all I'm saying is the trailer really puts it at the wrong foot form. Puts a bad taste in my mouth. So we're gonna have to wait till September to see if that bad taste changes, or if another trailer comes out that's better than this one. Anyway, so that's just kind of my thoughts on it. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of the trailer for Transformers 1? You guys like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.